All those games on the way. Plus, we take you to Wayne State to see if number 2 Detroit King can hold off a desperate Cass Tech team for the PSL title.
Yeah, and I'm going to sit down with 24/7 Sports Midwest recruiting guru Alan True. We talked to top juniors ranked a lot from Southfield and West Bloomfield. James Franklin helicopter visits and more coming up on High School Overtime, powered by State Champs.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers. More from Southfield in just a moment, but let's get things going tonight with the best thing our cameras throughout Michigan saw tonight, and it came from the number 1 team in the state, the Belleville Tigers. Bryce Underwood finding Kevin Symes over the middle, shakes a tackler, then it becomes a 50-yard sprint to the end zone, and you're not going to out-sprint Symes. Belleville takes care of Livonia Franklin to win the KLAA East. Much more from this game on the way. And that is how you kick off Friday night. Welcome to Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs. Representing the State Champs portion of our little dog and pony show is none other than Lauren Plant himself. I am simply Mickey York. Much more from our game of the week between Southfield A&T and West Bloomfield coming up in just a moment. But before we go any further, we do want to send our best wishes to A&T's Royce Liggins after he suffered a serious lower leg injury in tonight's game. We are certainly hoping for a speedy recovery. Absolutely. But Lauren, we didn't just have a game of the week. We had games of the week all over the state tonight.
You know, Mick, very much like the second to last episode of your favorite streaming show, what they call the Pentultimate episode. Week 8 of the high school football season is always where the cliffhanger comes into play. And that was the situation for a veritable plethora of teams all over the state tonight.
I always enjoy how you break up the thesaurus early in the show.
That's right.
It sets the standard very high.
Thank you. We're filled to the brim tonight with tremendous matchups. So let's whet the appetite. Let's go no huddle and start in the Saginaw Valley.
Yeah, Davison hosting the Bobcats of Grand Blanc. Grand Blanc actually took a 14-0 lead in this game, but started to give some of it back. The pick here by Tion Armstrong, and once he finds open space, he uses all of it to get into the end zone. It was a pick 6, and Davison goes on to roll after an early 14-0 deficit, 49-14 over the Bobcats.
Well, Detroit Public School Championship at Wayne State. Who will be this year's kings of the city? King and Castech jousting for the monarchy. Fourth quarter, Leishon Muffield finds the freshman phenom Corey Sadler, 26-yard touchdown. Castech had a 28-14 lead. Great game tonight out at Wayne State. PSL champs, the Technicians. A lot of people might be surprised to that. Some other highlights you'll see tonight, a downriver duel going on between two 5-2 teams. Woodhaven and Southgate Anderson must win for either team to keep their league title hopes alive. Warriors coming out on top. Lansing Eastern at Lansing Sexton. The 3-4 Sexton Big Red still a bubble team to get in to the Division IV playoffs. Needed to beat the winless Quakers. They did. A little Thursday night football in the PSL in case you missed it. Detroit Cody and Detroit Denby. Tars taking care of business in the second half. Win 28-6. And a solid chance to get into the D5 playoffs. And also, number 17, Brighton, taking care of Howell tonight, 21-6. The Little Brown Jug on the line in Livingston County.
Grandmother York, a Denby grad, by the way. How about that? Shout out to the Tars. We gave you a little peek of what happened between Belleville and Livonia Franklin. More of those highlights on the way. Chelsea, the reigning Division IV champ, getting a rematch of their 28th title game won by Edwardsburg tonight. It did not go well for the Bulldogs. Novi and Northville were playing for the baseline jug this evening. Northville will go home with that trophy, and Hudsonville and East Kent won a good one here. East Kentwood wins at 29-0, and we have ranked games from all around the state coming to you right now, beginning with what was going on this evening in Lapeer. The 13th ranked Clarkston Wolves haven't seen the Lapeer Lightning during the regular season since 2016. Clarkston won that game and has won 2 playoff games with Lapeer since. In fact, Lapeer was in search of its first ever win over Clarkston tonight, and at 7-0 and playing on their home turf, the 19th ranked Lightning felt like they were the favorites coming in. But the big question was, where was Rob Rubik tonight? Mr. Lapeer, always a fixture on the sidelines with the Lightning.
Hey, just a shout out to Mr. Clarkston himself, Mickey York. Great game, great start. Greg's got some good film for us. 7-7 start, big plays. Well, the story of this game, Mickey, let's just hope Lapeer can score.
Well, we knew we'd find him out there on those Lapeer sidelines. Okay, Mr. Clarkson, Mr. Lapeer, we'll fight about that another day. Lapeer did score, though, however. Junior Connor Brown picking off Stephen Cossack on the game's first play from scrimmage. He's going the distance. Lightning strikes. Lapeer on the board, 7-0. But after the Lightning comes the Thunder. Ethan Clark showing why he's on the watch list for Mr. Football, weaving and cutting his way. 54 yards for the score. That's a tough run. And it was just a preview of what was to come. Clark, again, we mentioned how tough he is to bring down. He's got some moves, shakes off some tacklers, finally dives into the end zone to put Clarkston on top 14-6. And then Cossack would atone for the early pick by hooking up with Desmond Stevens here. 55 yards to the land of good and plenty. Clarkston could not be stopped. The Wolves improved to 6-0 all-time versus Lapeer, 48-13 the final.
I was right next to when they got that pick, I was right next to the receiver, and I was just kind of thinking, oh boy, I don't really know how this game's going to go, but, I know our guys, and I knew that we were going to bounce back.
By far the most complete game of football, where we did exactly what we wanted to offensively, and then our defense held, and I thought did a great job. I think just one score in the entire game against an offense that, coming in had been putting up a lot of points. So, I was really proud of how we played on both sides of the ball, and couldn't ask for a lot, much more from our guys.
If Clarkston can shore up that defense, they'll be a tough out once again when the playoffs start. And Mr. Football candidate Ethan Clark, who we saw featured there in those highlights, was not the only front runner in action tonight, Lauren.
The land of good and plenty, as
yes,
you said.
right.
I love that. Hard to say, really, if there's a clear front runner for the Mr. Football Trophy tonight. Ethan Clark having an outstanding season, 400 yards rushing a week ago, multiple touchdowns tonight. But what was really fun about tonight was the fact that we had a few Mr. Football head-to-head showdowns here in Week 8. So the 15th Annual State Champs Mr. Football Award is presented by Hungry Howie's. You saw in the game of the week, Samaj Morgan for West Bloomfield up against Isaiah Marshall and Southfield A&T. We just saw Ethan Clark run all over Lapeer Lapeer, and out at Dexter, we had the undefeated Dreadnoughts, and they're all everything in the backup. Cole Cabana going up against the junior quarterback from Saline, CJ Carr. Now, the voting race in this contest is incredible. As of tonight, Cabana took over the voting lead with just over 21,750 votes. Samaj Morgan was the leading vote getter. He had, again, as of tonight, just over 21,150. So basically, 600 votes separating the two. Go to statechampsnetwork.com and vote for any of our 10 candidates. And speaking of Cabana, how did the Dreads fare against Saline? Well, it was only 1 week ago that tonight was supposed to be a huge matchup between two undefeated teams for the Southeastern Conference Red title. The Dexter Dreadnoughts did their part last week, taking care of Monroe. Saline, however, ran into a determined Bedford team that kept the Hornets out of the end zone, handing them their first loss of the season. And with it, their 52-game win streak in the SEC Red. You heard me right. So, the Hornets in a must-win scenario, if they had any hopes of a conference title, a crown they've worn for the last 8 years. Let's go to Dexter. First time playing since 2013, Saline playing a game following a conference loss. It's been 59 years since Dexter last won a conference title. That's over since they owned at least a share of the SEC Red title right now. Now, all eyes were on CJ Carr, the grandson of Loin Carr, and Notre Dame commit, and Cole Cabana, the 6-foot star running back committed to Michigan. First half of the game would prove to be the Cole Cabana show, as he would find the end zone from 6 yards out to give Dexter the early lead. His dominance would not stop, scoring yet another first half touchdown, this time on a 14-yard pass from the senior quarterback Reeves Taylor. Now, Saline would find themselves on the goal line on their final play of the half. The effort from Ryan Neathammer initially ruled a touchdown, but would be overturned by officials. Dexter led 14-6 at the half. Third quarter, luck would find its way for Saline. CJ Carr would fumble the ball on the goal line, but Matt Walper right there to scoop it up in the end zone. Saline would convert the two-point attempt to tie the game at 14 apiece. Now, stop me if you've heard this one before. Cole Cabana finding the end zone. Third time of the game, he would finish with a total of 184 yards, 3 touchdowns as Dexter wins the SEC Red Conference for the first time since 1963. The final in this one, Dexter 21, Saline 14.
Hey, I gotta do my thing, right?
Let's go, coach.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, it's first time in this league, and I mean it was a good game, hard fought, went through a lot of ups and downs, but the team came together, we stayed focused and got it done. It was a great team win.
Glad we got to feature that Dexter team, and I have a feeling it won't be the last time before we're all done with this little show this season.
True.
Speaking of ranked teams, the third-ranked De La Salle Pilots were stunned back in Week 4 when Catholic League rival Brother Rice upset them in an offensive shootout. Since then, the Pilots have bounced back, winning their last 3 in relatively easy fashion. Tonight, though, they faced arguably their biggest challenge of the season as they traveled to River Rouge to take on the 8th-ranked Panthers.
We know we're going to mix them up a little bit. We'll get some chances. When we get those chances, we got to take advantage of them. This is a really, really good football team. 2 great football teams. We worked too hard not to come out here and get better today. So let's get better. Let's stay focused, fly around, play our style of football. Let's go. Three. 1, 2, 3.
De La Salle knew it was going to be in for a fight, and that's exactly what the Pilots got. It was a battle of really defenses throughout most of the game. In fact, it was scoreless going into the third quarter. Just over 6 minutes left. In the third, Panthers sophomore quarterback Mikhail McDowell hands it out to junior Davion Hill, who able to get into the end zone to give the Panthers a 6-0 lead. Just under 2 minutes left in the third. It's McDowell again, this time finding junior receiver Nicholas Marsh in the corner of the end zone. Panthers ahead 12-0. But here comes De La Salle. Under 8 minutes to play in the fourth. Brady Drogosh finds Jack Janicic down the right sideline. He hauls it in and glides into the end zone. The Pilots trail 12-7. It's 18-7 Rouge when De La Salle strikes again. Freshman Damian King hauling in that offering from Brady Drogosh. De La Salle down 18-13. And then this. Under 30 seconds to go, they go to the freshman again. It's King with a slant from 10 yards out from Drogosh, putting them ahead 19-18. De La Salle with a last-second thriller comes back to stun River Rouge.
Now, what's the day we do right? We come in tomorrow morning, we watch film, we get a good stretch and yoga in, and we get better. We get better tomorrow, okay? We get better because of this football game. We get better tomorrow, we get better on Sunday, we get better on Monday. We got the Prep Bowl on Saturday. Go win the conference championship outright. I don't care who we're playing. Again, I never care who we're playing, and neither do you at this point. It's about us. So we go beat UD in the Prep Bowl and go in the outright championship, and then we start our next goal.
You can't say De La Salle doesn't keep it interesting. I mean, they had that thriller with Brother Rice. They got onto the wire and win it against Rouge tonight. And, you know, that is 3 top 20 matchups right out of the gate on the overtime. Who loves you, baby?
I love you, baby. And I will tell you this also. The fact that Tristan Nichols, one of their best wide receivers, if not their best wide receiver, out, the freshman stepping up. That's the mark of great teams. De La Salle is a great team. D2 playoff opponents, beware. All right, guys, hey, we have just kicked things off here on this edition of the OT. So, still to come, the battle of the unbeatens in Belleville, where the #1 Tigers looking to lay claim to a KLAA East title with a win over fellow undefeated Livonia Franklin. Highlights of that and much, much more when we return to Overtime, powered by State Champs. All right, back to the highlights. Novi heads down Taft Road, and after the 2.5-mile trek, they enter Northfield for the annual Battle of the Baseline Jug. A lot on the line. Playoff points, home field advantage in the postseason, and, of course, the rivalry keepsake, the Jug. Novi won the Jug last year, got a field goal early to go up 3-0. Then Northfield junior Adam Goodhue misplaced the punt, and it's all good. Hugh, that is, weaving through the Wildcats special teams. Goodhue getting it done. 66 yards to La Casa. Low-scoring affair, though, as the Mustangs took the 7-3 lead into the third quarter. Northfield with arguably the best defense in the division, but Novi able to put 6 on the board with Luke Aurelia. And the Wildcats had a 10-7 lead into the fourth, but it wasn't meant to be. Northfield's Nolan Thompson would make his case for catch of the week with a sweet snag to retake the lead. They wouldn't look back. The junior running back, Caleb Moore, would score one more for the Stang. The boys in black and orange win back the Baseline Jug, 21-10, the final.
We're here with senior Nolan Thompson. You guys got the Jug back. How are you feeling right now? you know, I feel great. I'm so happy for all my teammates and coaches. You know, we've just followed the game plan that they put for us, and it went well. And yeah, it's just awesome.
The student section running on the court. Oh, how about that? Student section running on the court. The whole community enjoying this moment. Can you describe what that was like for you?
It's just the best feeling ever. We battled adversity the whole game, and to come out on top, it just feels so awesome. No other feeling that's better than this.
Yes, the championship belt and all, the baseline jug. And for those who don't know...
To the winner goes the spoils in Northfield tonight.
Yes. Yeah. Baseline drive is what separates Novi and Northfield High School. Guernsey's Dairy created the first baseline jug in the 80s, and it's passed down to the winner each year. So it's back into the hands of Northfield. But unless Brighton lost tonight, there would be no other division hardware in the Mustangs trophy case, shared or otherwise.
And perhaps you can tell I've enjoyed a Guernsey product or two over the years, but you're exactly right, Lauren.
I can walk there.
The 17th ranked Brighton Bulldogs just needed a win over 3 and 4 Howell tonight to take care of business and claim the West title outright. Sounded easy enough.
This game's not about you. This is about all the families that support you, all the alumni that have had your back, all the dudes that have been in this fight. It's about them. Walking off this field at the end of the night with your head up high, victorious, jug under one arm, that's what it's about. If I have to come in here and scream and yell to get you ready for this one, someone needs to check your pulse.
Coach Lemons didn't need to provide his team with any more juice as the Bulldogs went into Highlander territory tonight. Just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Bulldogs on the board. Colin McKernan swings it out to his running back Carson Schrader, who takes it in from 10 yards out. Brighton up 7-0. Jump ahead to the third quarter, just under a minute to play. It's McKernan again getting a little help from his teammates as they push him into the end zone to put the Bulldogs up 14-0. 3 minutes, though, left in the fourth. Howell makes it interesting. Levi Curtin follows a mass of team spirit into the end zone to cut it to 14-6. But Brighton would find a way to tack on one more score to win it 21-6.
Oh, you know, the team, we were all juiced. We were all going. You know, we lost last year, took it to heart. Went in this off season just grinding, and we took it in practice this week. We just went hard and came out with the win.
All right, so the Southeast Michigan Ford matchup, talking about the last time that the Livonia Franklin Patriots began the season a perfect 7-0. The Detroit Tigers had just hired a new manager named Jim Leland. That's right, 17 years ago. This year's Patriot team has won 11 of 12, dating back to last season that included a date in the D2 state semifinals. The current number 1 team in the state, Belleville, joined the KLAA East in 2018 and have beaten the Patriots every year. So, the KLAA, say that 10 times fast.
I would not try.
The KLAA East title on the line, the only game in the state featuring 2 undefeated teams.
You heard it all week. One championship remaining. Let's get it going. Let's go. Patriot Jags, are you ready? Yes, sir. I can't hear you. I said Patriot Jags, are you ready? Yes, sir. Ready? You got it. P-A-T-R-I-O-T-S. Let's go, man. Let's go.
So no doubt about it, a fired up Franklin team looking to upset number 1 Belleville at the home of the Tigers. Home team would get on the board first. This is Bryce Underwood, the Mr. Football candidate, handing it off to Jeremiah Beasley, who avoids a few would-be tacklers. The junior linebacking recruits got offers from Michigan State, Cincinnati, Boston College, and others. Tigers up 7-0 early. Tigers sticking to the same game plan. Beasley again makes his way to the outside this time, just marching on in. That made it 14-zip Belleville. Later, Underwood would find Kevin Symes over the middle. Symes shakes a tackler. This is a 50-yard pitch and catch. No one in sight. Belleville up 21-0. Franklin would finally get on the board. Dominic Simpson takes the handoff. The short scamper made it 21-7, but Beasley was a beast. His third touchdown on the night. Belleville bests Franklin 42-14.
I'm going to be honest with you. Every time we get ready to play Brighton, I get damn excited. Hey, every time we play Brighton, I get damn excited. This is for championship, guys. You guys might not know it, but you're the defending champ of this league, the KLAA, for at least 5 years running. The only time we didn't win was my second year. So this is for bragging rights. I believe they're going to be undefeated. You're going to be undefeated. We go to their place. We got a surprise for them. We got a surprise for them. Y'all better come ready to play and ready to practice this week, because I'm telling you, I'm on fire. I want them to tackle. Flat out. Let's bring it in.
All right, so Belleville obviously buzzing, and they will make their way for a title match next Saturday afternoon between the Tigers and the Bulldogs of Brighton. These two teams last met in the 2019 Division I state semifinals, where Brighton was a heavy underdog in that one, but found a way, defeating the Tigers 22-19. It's Brighton versus Belleville for KLAA Conference Hardware Saturday, October 22nd at 12 p.m. only on Bally Sports.
And that basically gets us to where we thought we'd be. Belleville and Brighton. Belleville just doesn't lose football games anymore, though. But the Bulldogs on their home field on a Saturday, ooh, that should be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, up next, we take our weekly tour around the state. Visiting just about every border of our state our cameras could reach when we continue on Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs.
Hey, Southfield A&T wanted to come out and make a quick statement tonight against West Bloomfield, but the Lakers would hear nothing of it. They raced out to a quick 14-0 lead, never looked back. West Bloomfield beat Southfield tonight in convincing fashion, and our Natalie Kerwin is standing by with one of the winners.
Here now with Samaj Morgan. Samaj, let me get this straight. 2 interceptions, a pick 6, a passing touchdown. You step in at quarterback tonight. Your primary position is a wide receiver, though, which we didn't even get to see. Is there anything you can't do?
There's nothing I can't do without God, you know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, my dad taught me how to just play the whole game of football. He ain't just teach me how to play one position. Like, growing up, I played running back, quarterback, linebacker, everything. And I just feel like every time before I come out here, I pray, ask God to give me the strength to come out here and do my best, and that's what he did today.
Take us through what you got going on here with the turnover chain.
This is a turnover chain. I got to wear this 2 times today. I had a pick 6 and a pick. and I got the riddle 2 times. It ain't the real thing, but when it get the real thing, y'all gonna know. That's all I gotta say.
Well deserved. You knew going up against an offense like this for Southfield A&T, your defense would have to make some big plays. They sure did that. You included in that group too. How proud are you of that group for coming together like that?
Me, I'm just proud of my whole team because, you know, you're missing our starting quarterback out, our starting linebacker out, Kari Jackson. So really as a team, we just had to be able to gel and be able to come through for each other and win this game because the odds was against us because, you know, all the people we got out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just thankful that my team, we just got to come together as one and then win this game that we really needed to win.
You told me at the start of this season, back in August, that you had the best secondary in the state and that group would take you guys to Ford Field. After tonight, how much do you believe in that?
I've been believing that ever since we all stepped on the field together. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say nothing I don't believe, especially about my teammates. Because me, I ain't really no hater, but if you not sweet, I'm not going to say you sweet. So, but my teammate's sweet, and I'm glad we just got to pull it out today. Deontay Pippen, he a receiver. He was guard number 1 all day. Locked him up. You know what I'm saying? He don't even play corner. His first time playing corner was 2 weeks ago. So that just goes to show we got athletes all around the whole team. And I'm just thankful that we just got to do that today. You know what I'm saying? So display our talent.
Samaj Morgan, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Samaj Morgan and crew. West Bloomfield wins this one 42-28. Look at Samaj rocking the chain, feeling good. Sending it to you now, Mickey and Lauren in the studio.
Natalie, thank you. The problem with Samaj is that he just lacks confidence, Lauren.
He really does. We've seen a lot of hardware so far in the show tonight. We've seen the championship belt, the turnover chain. You know, Samaj is a guy who, at the press conference for the PKC Classic, made it a point to say, if I am not number 1 or number 2 in the state, then this season has been a failure. That is the confidence level that young man has. I will say this. Had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he did. He did. And he and the Lakers are in search of a lot more hardware before this season is all said and done. All right, time for us to continue our tour around the state. We will start in our state capital. The Quakers of Lansing Eastern, looking for their first win of the season, took the short 3.5-mile jaunt over to Lansing Sexton tonight. I don't think you need to fire up the bus for that. You can just stroll over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. After 2 quick scores in this game, Sexton's John Douglas scores here on a 1-yard keeper to put the Big Reds up 14-7. Now, after the touchdown, Sexton would go for 2, and James Stone just walked his way in to complete that. Sexton goes on to win it by a final of 23-7.
All right, we hop on I-96 West and we head over to the Grand Rapids area, East Kentwood to be exact, as the 4-3 Falcons look to continue to build their playoff resume with the win over the 2-5 Hudsonville Eagles, a team that led number 12 Rockford at the half last week. So, East Kentwood trying to get that Hudsonville monkey off their back. The Eagles winners of 3 straight over EK, including a 52-20 win in the 2020 districts. Pick this one up in the second. Falcons down 14-6 in the red zone. QB Ben Cash finds Jaden Woodson on the sideline, dives in for the TD. Missed extra point. Falcons trailing 14-13. Hudsonville trying to answer, but East Kenwood's Elise Kanda gets a great read, picks off the pass, 32 yards the other way. Falcons jump out to a 19-14 lead. Fourth quarter now. Falcons driving again. This time Cash cashing in on his own. Just about 20 yards. East Kentwood a 29-20 lead. Eagles down to their last drive. QB Trey Carr drops back, looking deep, but he will be picked off by Marcus Mitchell. Huge win for East Kentwood's playoff hopes. They take on Granville next week. They win here 29-20.
And finally, we travel to the southwest border of the state. Edwardsburg, just a hop, skip, and a jump from South Bend, Indiana, hosting the 5-2 Chelsea Bulldogs, the defending state champions in Division IV, trying to reach the postseason for the 9th straight year, making the long trip to face the 6-1 Uncle Eddie's. This is the first meeting between these two schools since the Eddies took down Chelsea in the 2018 Division IV MHSAA championship game by a final of 28-7. It was the first and only state title for Edwardsburg. Chelsea hoping to add to its only state title and exact some revenge 4 years in the making. But tonight would not be the nights. The Eddies were like Forrest Gump tonight. They were running, The big bodies paving the way for Andrew Colvin to race 17 yards up the gut for the score, and that worked so well. The Eddies turn to Colvin again. We lose him for a moment in a space-time continuum. By the time he reemerges, he's in the end zone celebrating a 30-yard touchdown run. Eddies cruising up 32-7. Someone other than Andrew Colvin would score in this game. Lucas Dawson, working with a full house backfield there, keeps it himself. The bootleg springs him for 6. They shake hands. All Eddies tonight. Edwardsburg tops Chelsea 46-7. And we are happy to be joined now by Edwardsburg head coach Kevin Bartz. I don't know what curfew is there in Edwardsburg, but Kevin, we thank you for staying up with us.
It's not too often we get on the show here. You guys don't make it down in our corner much. I'm staying up all night if I need to.
We are finally happy to get over to Edwardsburg and celebrate a little bit with the Eddies. And I think some of us were surprised your game was as lopsided as it was tonight. What's that say about how well your kids played tonight?
You know, I think we were a little surprised ourselves. You know, we coming into this, they offered quite a bit offensively, especially that we thought we were going to have problems with. But I think where we kind of dominated was at the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. You know, offensively, other than we had 2 penalties in a row that stopped the drive, we consistently moved the ball down on the field and scored every possession. But defensively, I thought Coach Brooks, our defensive coordinator, had a great plan. They scored on their first possession. We made a couple adjustments and just played phenomenal after that.
Talk a little bit more about your guys up front. Has that been the key to your team all season long, what you've been able to do on those offensive and defensive lines?
It has. You know, that was kind of a strength of our group coming in. You know, they're very senior dominated up front. They've kind of had to pave the way for us. We started out the season, we had quite a few injuries in our backfield. We had Brett Allen and Mikey Pryor, a couple of our speedsters we didn't have for 3 or 4 games. And you know, so we kind of had to chunk away a little bit, and we didn't have that breakaway runner. So our offensive and defensive lines have kind of kept us in games close enough that we were getting the wins.
Hey, we mentioned the state championship win over Chelsea in 2018. You have made it to the semifinals the last couple of years. Is this a team that can get back to Ford Field?
We're still just finding ourselves. Like I said, this is the first game where we've actually played 4 solid quarters of football. It's the first time we feel like we've been healthy all year. So I think this was a big boost of confidence for our kids, because I think them coming into tonight go, you know, it's Chelsea. We don't know what we're going to have against them. And so I think, yeah, this was a big shot in the arm and a big boost for our kids and our coaching staff.
If you're just finding yourselves, it's a good time to do it as you get ready for the postseason. You'll have one more with Sturgis next week, but you're going to repeat as conference champs. You've made 12 straight playoff appearances now. What's contributed to the consistent success you've enjoyed in Edwardsburg over the years?
It's a very well-run program from the bottom up. You know, we've got our kids running offensively what we do from the time they're in Rocket football. The stability of my coaching staff, you know, from my middle school to my freshman and JV coaches and the varsity coaches. We've been doing this together for a long time. We've got a system down, and it seems to be working for us.
Well, you're right. We don't get to Edwardsburg very often, but we hope we can invite you to Detroit with us on Thanksgiving weekend. We look forward to seeing you then. And it really is past Kevin Bart's bedtime now, so we'll let you go. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to the Eddies the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You got it. All right, coming up next, we come back to the city. A pair of championships were decided in the PSL tonight, including the highly anticipated rematch between Martin Luther King and Cass Tech. Could the Technicians avenge an earlier loss this season? The highlights tell all when the OT returns.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs and your local helicopter rental company. And we're brought to you by, of course, Legacy Football, the #1 football development program in Michigan, and by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Welcome James Franklin, as he made his way to Southfield and then made his way to Harper Woods, so he was all over the place. All right, guys, let's go to the Detroit Public School League from Thursday. Senior night at Denby as they took on the Cody Comets, who haven't defeated the Tars in 12 years. Denby looking for win number 5, second quarter. That's Demetrius McCants, who scores on the keeper. They were up 8-0. Cody with the ball next. Donald Hill is in. Comets trailed 8-6 as we headed into halftime. Tars came out and tore it up in the second half. The sophomore Shantez Bowie lining up at QB, off to the races, 45-yard run to the goal line. Punched it in a couple plays later. Tars up 20-6 after 3 quarters of play. Final quarter now, McCants muscling up his second rushing score from 6 yards out. Denby gets win number 5 on the season with a 28-6 victory over Cody. Big boost to the Tars' chances of getting in the Division 5 playoffs.
On to the PSL Gold Championship game, the Trailblazers from Detroit Central taking on the Jungleers of Detroit Southeastern. An early safety from Central made it 2-0. The Southeastern quarterback, Julian Liddell, answers with 6. Keeps himself, hits the hole, and breezes 23 yards to the crib. That's what the kids call it, Lauren. Missed extra point makes it 6-2 Jungleers, but Central answers. Javion Lewis dropping back, finds DeMarcus Brown over the top. Central takes the lead 9-6. Jungleers back on offense here. Liddell under pressure, flips the ball to the hands of Tristan Duncan. It's a big man with a pick. He's thinking 6, but loses the ball. No! Oh, we big fellas, we get excited when we get a chance to touch the football. Believe it or not, Duncan had 2 picks in this game. His first set up a Central TD, and the Trailblazers started to roll from there. Lewis back to the air here. It's a striking DeCarlos White, and you can watch his tail lights fade to black. The Trailblazers strike PSL Gold 31-14 over the Jungleers.
Well, you know, Detroit Martin Luther King came into tonight a perfect 5-0 in the PSL, and let's be honest. Outside of the first Cass Tech matchup, where the Technicians made it really interesting late to only lose by 5 points, King put the Crews in Crusaders, defeating their last 3 PSL opponents by a combined 136-0. But tonight, city championship on the line. The setting, Wayne State. King has won 3 straight in this storied rivalry. And they took a big lead early on the Technicians, capped off by a wide open touchdown pass right before the half. This is a flashback, excuse me, to November 16th. We have to see this. This is when King held on. This was a game played at Cass Tech that had about 5,000 flags. So let's now check out what happened tonight at Wayne State, okay? And here we go. So King coming in a perfect
field. It is the PSL Division 1 championship.
Bloomfield back. He's got time. He's got time. Going deep up top. Got it! Corey Sadler, the freshman. Hello. Cass goes heavy, gives it. Hodges, he's in.
Touchdown.
Putting them up 13-0 pending the PAT.
We got press coverage on the outside, though.
Almost lost that one again. They've had trouble. Good throw here. We got 2 men open. 2 men open. Got it! Hello! Nobody's going to catch him. And just like that, touchdown, Martin Luther King. Going to keep it. Oh, wide open. Great play. Hello. Wow.
And that's exactly how the coach draws it up for a touchdown.
Mumfield keeping it in. Fumble. Ball's out. Ball's out. Ball's out. He's got it. Touchdown. Mumfield fumbled it.
Jalen
Ball
Washington
came out, and Jalen Washington, number 56, fell on it. That ball squirted out into the end zone. Touchdown, Cass Tech. Minutes remaining here in this one. Quick slant. Oh, yeah. Get him into space. Get him into space. Get him into space. There he goes. Touchdown.
Cass Tech celebrating at the 50-yard line, trophy in hand. They are your 2022 Detroit PSL Division I champions.
What an impressive performance from Cass Tech tonight, given what we saw in that first meeting with King at their place earlier this season. So much talent on the field whenever King and Tech get together, and some of that talent is vying for this year's state champs Anvil award.
You know, Mickey, before we get to that, I just want to say that I'm still reeling from that Edwardsburg game and I believe that we entered the multiverse during that one particular scene. I don't know if Coach was a Skrull or not. Those are comic book references, but that threw me off.
Yes.
And so I apologize at the beginning of that, setting up that that flashback.
That's right.
But
we're all back now.
We're back now. Yep. It's midnight, and we're having a great time. And guys, the Anvil Award continues to heat up. Now, no changes to the list this week. We saw Amir Herring of West Bloomfield had a stellar night for the Lakers. As far as the voting goes, it's a great competition. Dearborn's Divine Child's Dylan Senda leading with over 6,500 votes. Looks like the Northwestern commit getting a lot of love. Cass Tech had a massive win tonight over King, whether I set it up right or not. Jalen Thompson, I'm sure, was a big reason why. He's in second place in the voting. West Bloomfield's Brandon Davis Swain is in third. He played great tonight, but that's just the vote. Yes, the winner will automatically be in the Final Four, but the committee will select the other three. Who will take home the Anvil this year? How about De La Salle's Mason Moragan or Clarkston's Cole Dellinger? We will talk more about how someone wins the Anvil next week. In the meantime, get to statechampsnetwork.com and vote.
Right, coming up next on Overtime, Davison might be the most dangerous team in the state right now, but they had a good test on their hands with the high-scoring Bobcats of Grand Blanc. Those highlights from high school football. Friday's Overtime, powered by State Champs, continues.
All right, let's go to some 8-player action tonight from Thursday night as Deckerville went on the road at Burton Atherton. We're going to pick it up in the fourth quarter. Atherton's Romeo Clausel went off. He had a pick six to start the fourth. Then here, going untouched for the 59-yard score. Wolverines up 36-20 with over 5 minutes to go in the game. It's over, right? Don't count out Deckerville. It's the junior Dylan Ball, just balling. Third rushing score, Eagles down 36-28. Less than 90 seconds left. Deckerville with possession, Ball another TD. They convert the two, we're tied at 36. Then the Eagles roll the dice, go for the onside kick, and Parker Merriman with the recovery. Deckerville ball, just 11 seconds left. So, who's going to get the ball? I'll give you one guess. It's Ball. 6th rushing touchdown. The conversion is good. 44-36 lead. Burton Atherton with one chance to tie it up. Davison throws deep to Vines, but the Deckerville defense takes him down well short of the end zone. Deckerville hangs on in a thriller. This is 8-player football at its finest. 44-36, the final.
Well, how on point has the Davison offense been lately? I'm about to answer my own question. They haven't scored less than 50 points in each of their last 4 weeks, including hanging 52 on what was then an unbeaten Wall Lake Western team back in Week 6. Tonight, they went for their 7th win of the season as they welcomed Grand Blanc, a team that can score some points of its own, and at 5-2 was fighting for its postseason life. The number 10 Davison Cardinals welcoming Grand Blanc tonight. Davison spotted the Bobcats a 14-0 lead before they went to work. Braylon Himmeline finds sophomore A.J. Hill in the end zone, and the Cardinals were on the board at 14-7. Next possession, Grand Blanc driving again until Tion Armstrong jumps this route, picks it off. He'll weave his way back across the field and find fresh Davison night air. Oh, it's lovely this time of year. A 77-yard pick six ties the game at 14. Davison starting to roll now, working in the red zone when Himmeline finds Jalen Flowers on the quick out here. Flowers breaks a tackle, and then the play into the end zone. Davison takes its first lead of the game, 21-14. 4 minutes left in the first half. This time, Flowers will take the handoff, breaks up the middle, and just outruns everyone else. They don't lay another hand on him. He explodes for an 84-yard run, his second TD of the night. Davison takes a 28-14 lead and goes on to win it 49-14 after an early scare from Grand Blanc.
All right, heading over to Southgate Anderson where the Titans welcome in the Woodhaven Warriors in this downriver duel. Woodhaven off and running early. This is the senior Devin Hendry rumbling a 38-yard touchdown. Woodhaven up 7-0. Still in the first, Henry does it again. He's going to go up the gut this time and into the end zone. 25-yard touchdown. Warriors led 14-0. More from the first quarter. This time, Woodhaven senior quarterback Dominic Davis is going to keep it himself. He'll find the paint. Warriors ahead 21-0. And yes, we are still in the first quarter. Henry with the quarter of his life. 25-yard touchdown, all Warriors, all night. Woodhaven beats Southgate Anderson 49-21.
We knew this would be a tough game tonight because they're much improved since the past year, and they're doing a great job. And, you know, we came out and we had a game plan for them, and the kids did their job. Now next week we got to roll, and we got one more game. We got a chance to win a league championship against Carlson or tie for it with a few teams, but to be in the hunt for that is what's important, and we got to prepare this week to do the best we can at accomplishing that goal for us.
All right, as we have mentioned, there were plenty of talented juniors highlighted in our game of the week tonight, but that was just a little taste of the exceptional junior class around the state that could be playing at the next level in a couple of years. We'll talk who might be going where when recruiting expert Alan True drops by the OT next.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. I'm joined by 24/7 Sports' Alan True. Those of you who follow recruiting know his work very well. He covers the entire Midwest, and we've got the early signing period in recruiting coming up very shortly, just a couple of months away. So a lot of recruiting talk will be taking place between now and then, as if it ever really dies down. But Alan, again, has been doing this for a long time, has worked with State Champs for a long time. So how you doing, my friend?
Hey, doing very well. It's the heart of football season, so I can't complain about too much right now.
That's right. So he is a busy guy. We appreciate his time and being here. And, you know, the Bally Sports Football Fridays Game of the Week this week featured West Bloomfield and Southfield A&T. And if you look at the 24/7 Sports rankings, you look at the junior class, there are no less than 10 guys between the two schools in 24/7 Sports top 30. But one of the most coveted is Isaiah Marshall. Zeke the Streak, the quarterback at Southfield A&T, no less than 22 offers. And he's one of our Mr. Football candidates. He's been going crazy this year. What does his stock look like?
Oh, it's going way up. I mean, he's got those 22 offers, and there's some good schools on that list. But I think what's most interesting about him is that I think those are going to increase based on the way he's played. Now, he's been a known commodity for a long time. He had offers in middle school. He played varsity as a freshman and sophomore and had good seasons. But he has really taken things up to another level this year, and that's why I think when we're talking about him again at this time next year, that offer list is going to look quite different. It may look very different in a month or two here.
And there are, of course, coaches always trying to get the upper hand, always trying to make an impression. So James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State, we know they're playing Michigan tomorrow night at the Big House, or tomorrow afternoon at the Big House, but he is flying in by copter to make a personal appearance to go see Mr. Marshall. And he was here to see another player, right?
Yeah, he went up to Harper Woods and Rochester Adams, and two players in that game, Jacob Oden and Brady Priestcorn, who both have offers from the Nittany Lions. They're supposed to go out and visit next week, but Coach Franklin knows how to make a splash in recruiting, so he didn't want to waste his time tonight and made a stop at 2 games, and that one just happened to have 2 juniors that they are recruiting very, very heavily.
So on the West Bloomfield side, we have an Anvil Award candidate, a lineman, Brandon Davis-Swain, who's a top junior for the Lakers, and he had already committed to Notre Dame, but I understand he's made a visit to Michigan. What's going on there?
Yeah, so he, since then, has not done interviews, has not really spoken about the Michigan visit. So all we can assume right now is they still committed to Notre Dame. He hasn't made any announcement one way or another on that. He actually, I believe, reaffirmed that commitment at one point. But he did take the visit. His teammates are committed to Michigan, so that will raise some questions. But as far as publicly right now, he has not changed off of that Notre Dame commitment, so I think he's still in the Fighting Irish class and planning to be a member of that class at this moment.
Real quick, if people want to follow your work, where do they go?
Go to @AlanTrue on Twitter and go to 247sports.com, and you know, both places kind of carry everything that I send out.
That's right. He's a great follow on Twitter. He's dialed in, and he's got a busy weekend. So check it out, follow him now, and check out everything going on. Alan, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
All right. There's never a shortage of great plays around the state on Friday nights. The hard part is trying to pick the best one. So who will be our game changer of the night? Votes are being tabulated. We'll show you the winner when we come back.
Order your
All right, here's some scores from the other top games around the state tonight. Adams survives a game Harper Woods team, and number 7 Caledonia rolls all over Howell and West Ottawa.
Yeah, and out on the west side, Rockford just continues to get it done. They have a big win tonight, 42-14. And Forest Hill Central moved into the state champs top 20 rankings and come off with a big win over Grand Rapids Christian, 30-7.
All right, time now for the DMC game changer of the night. And we have to go with Dexter running back Cole Cabana. 137 yards rushing, 47 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns to lead the Dreadnoughts to their first conference title since 1963. Congrats to Cole and the rest of his Dexter teammates. And with that, just one more week remains in the regular season, and then it's playoff time.
No doubt about it. I'm super excited about what's going to be happening.
That's right, and we will wrap it up next Saturday with our Game of the Week. That'll be followed by a special Saturday edition of Overtime, which sets the stage for Selection Sunday here on Bally Sports. Brighton and Belleville. It is going to be a big weekend of high school football around here.
No doubt. This was an epic night of football. I don't care how late it is. This is the best job in the world, and Week 8 did not disappoint. Week 9 is going to be even better. The regular season has just one game to go. Will we have snow across the state? Who knows? You can't call it, and I'll tell you what, you got to be here next Saturday right after the Bally Sports game. Stay here for the overtime. I won't be here, but you'll enjoy it.